We are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
Diddy will be sued, and I say will be because nothing has been filed yet, by at least 120 people in the next 30 days. So
the saga surrounding Sean Diddy Combs is nothing short of explosive. The once celebrated music mogul, known for his extravagant lifestyle and influence in the entertainment world, now finds himself at the center of one of the most scandalous stories in recent memory. From the stark conditions of his confinement to allegations that keep piling on, it seems like the empire Diddy built is crumbling around him. But how did it come to this? And what exactly is unfolding behind the walls of the Metropolitan Detention Center where he's being held?
I have information that he was arrested tonight at a Manhattan hotel. He is currently being processed. I heard from his attorney they are still maintaining his innocence. They said that in anticipation of these charges that Diddy relocated to New York last week.
The first and most shocking detail to emerge is Diddy's alleged mental state. Reports claim that the hip-hop legend has been struggling with severe anxiety and paranoia since entering the detention center. Sources close to him say he's terrified for his safety, convinced that someone is out to harm him. This fear has reportedly driven him to avoid consuming the meals provided by the facility, as he believes they could be tampered with. According to Larry Levine, a prison consultant and former inmate who spoke about Diddy's case, the possibility of someone with outside connections contaminating his food is not as far-fetched as it sounds. Levine speculated during a podcast appearance that, given Diddy's high-profile status, there's a real risk of enemies targeting him even from behind bars.
And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent to proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we could debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent till proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent till proven guilty. When you have this much...
Levine's comments gained traction after Diddy's court appearances, where he looked startlingly different. Observers described him as thinner, with visibly grayer hair, a stark contrast to the vibrant and polished image he once projected. Journalist Elizabeth Milner, who attended one of his hearings, noted that Diddy seemed like a shadow of his former self. She described his transformation as astonishing, pointing out how months in a federal detention center appeared to be taking toll on him. For someone accustomed to luxury, the cold, harsh reality of prison life seems to be hitting particularly hard.
There's no way. They can't move in the general population. And would he be at risk? Sure, he'd be at risk. There's so many people that have nothing to lose, right? They're going to be in jail the rest of their life. They've got nothing to, they want their 15 minutes of fame. They were friends with Diddy, or they hurt Diddy, or they killed Diddy, or they did. I mean, there's so many, people in jail that this would be their moment. You can't put them there. Plus,
adding to the drama is Diddy's refusal to eat standard meals. Rumors suggest he's been surviving on commissary snacks like chips and honey buns, which he believes are less likely to be tampered with. While these choices might sustain him physically, they've done little to quell concerns about his mental health. Reports indicate that Diddy had a meltdown in his cell during the holiday season, a time when he's typically seen throwing lavish parties. Instead of caviar, he faced isolation and the grim reality of his situation. According to insiders, he begged prison guards to take him to the hospital for observation, claiming he was on the verge of a breakdown. When his requests were denied, he reportedly turned to meditation techniques to calm himself, a practice he's been relying on heavily since his incarceration.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the SHU have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there.
But Diddy's troubles don't stop at his mental health. He's also grappling with a slew of lawsuits and allegations that paint a picture of someone who used power and influence to manipulate and harm others. One particularly explosive claim comes from a man named Jonathan A.I., who has accused Diddy of exploiting him in unimaginable ways. Jonathan, a former associate of Diddy's, alleges that he was coerced into acts he never consented to, all while being controlled by a so-called Hollywood network. His shocking statements have drawn attention not only to Diddy's actions, but also to the broader culture of complicity in the entertainment industry. Jonathan's claims are just the tip of the iceberg. Another individual, Cardello Smith, has filed a lawsuit alleging that Diddy framed him for a crime he didn't commit. Cardello, who is currently serving time in prison, says that Diddy orchestrated events to ensure he would take the fall for allegations that could have otherwise implicated Diddy himself. What makes this case even more sensational is the involvement of Jennifer Lopez, who has been named as a material witness. According to Cardello, Lopez was aware of key evidence that could have exonerated him, but chose to remain silent. He alleges that Diddy pressured her into keeping quiet, a claim that, if true, could have far-reaching implications for her reputation.
Diddy's mom has finally spoken out amidst everything that is happening right now, Janice Small Combs provided a statement to some outlets via her attorney. So she starts off by saying it's very heartbreaking to see her son judged not for the truth, but for a narrative created out of lies.
Cardello's legal filings are packed with disturbing details. He claims that Diddy used threats and violence to intimidate him and his family, effectively silencing him for years. It wasn't until federal agents raided Diddy's properties that Cardello felt it was safe to come forward. Among the evidence allegedly recovered during these raids were recordings that could corroborate Cardello's story. He also claims that, while in prison, he has faced threats from other inmates and guards, whom he believes are acting on behalf of Diddy. This atmosphere of fear and intimidation is one of the reasons Cardello's legal team is pushing for his case to be heard despite the significant time that has passed since the alleged incidents. As these lawsuits unfold, Diddy's fear of retaliation within the prison system becomes even more understandable. The Metropolitan Detention Center, where he is being held, has a notorious reputation. Described by some as hell on earth, the facility is plagued by violence, unsanitary conditions, and a lack of proper medical care. High-profile inmates like Diddy are often targeted, either for their notoriety or simply because they represent an opportunity for others to gain attention. For someone like Diddy, who has spent decades surrounded by wealth and privilege, the adjustment to such an environment is undoubtedly jarring. Diddy's legal team has been working tirelessly to secure his release on bail, offering an eye-watering 50 million currency units as part of their proposal. The package included home detention, the surrender of his passport, and the co-signature of multiple family members. However, the judge overseeing the case remained unmoved, citing concerns about the risk of witness tampering. The prosecution has alleged that Diddy and his associates have a history of attempting to influence or intimidate witnesses, making his release a potential threat to the integrity of the legal process.
I mean, it's a legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day. Oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes. And sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
What's perhaps most striking about this entire situation is the contrast between Diddy's current reality and the life he once led. This is a man who was synonymous with opulence, a figure who seemed untouchable in the world of music and entertainment. Yet now, he finds himself confined to a small, cold cell, grappling with the consequences of actions that have been brought into the harsh light of public scrutiny. The transformation is as symbolic as it is literal, a fall from grace that has captivated the world's attention. As the lawsuits and allegations continue to pile up, it's becoming increasingly clear that Diddy's legal troubles are far from over. The involvement of high-profile witnesses like Jennifer Lopez and the potential for even more names to emerge add layers of complexity to an already tangled web. Observers are left wondering not only about the outcome of these cases, but also about the broader implications for those who may have been complicit in Diddy's alleged actions.
It's just interesting to me that with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
The story of Sean Diddy Combs is one that seems to grow darker with each passing day. From his mental health struggles to shocking claims being made against him, it's clear that this is a narrative with many more twists and turns to come. For now, the world watches as the once powerful mogul faces the fight of his life, both in the courtroom and within the walls of the detention center he now calls home. The situation surrounding Sean Diddy Combs continues to spiral, with new revelations and accusations coming to light almost daily. The once untouchable music mogul, who built an empire on his name, now finds himself in a storm of legal battles, shocking allegations, and the brutal reality of life in a federal detention center. But as the story unfolds, it's becoming clear that Diddy's troubles aren't just about his own actions. The ripple effects are pulling in some of the biggest names in the industry, raising questions about who knew what and who might be next. Diddy's fear for his safety inside the Metropolitan Detention Center is no secret, and it seems his paranoia might actually be justified. Reports from insiders suggest there are whispers among inmates about targeting him, not only because of his high-profile status, but also because of the alleged criminal empire he once ran. The prison environment is unforgiving, especially for someone like Diddy, who's more accustomed to silk sheets and private jets than steel bunks and concrete walls. Inmates looking to make a name for themselves often see such high-profile figures as opportunities, and Diddy's wealth and notoriety make him an even bigger target. Some sources have even claimed that rival factions within the facility are already jockeying for control over how to handle him, with some viewing him as a potential ally, while others see him as a stepping stone to boost their own reputations.
Well, Sierra, anything's possible, right? But now this judge has an even harder time, I think, because the past judge locked him up, didn't let him out, and he's still there available for trial. If the new judge lets him out on bond and something goes wrong, and this isn't the analysis that I'm proud to make, right? We shouldn't be saying, well, judges are worried about their own skin and how they look if something bad happens.
In an attempt to counteract these threats, Diddy's legal team has been pushing hard for his transfer to a different facility, one they argue would offer better security and more humane conditions. However, the prosecution is having none of it, pointing out the risk of witness interference. And let's be honest, Diddy's history doesn't exactly help his case here. Prosecutors have accused him of using his vast resources to silence accusers and manipulate witnesses in the past, and they're making it clear they won't take any chances now. This dynamic has created a legal stalemate, with Diddy stuck in the very place he's desperate to escape. But while Diddy battles for his freedom, the focus is starting to shift to the people around him. One of the most intriguing developments is the involvement of Jay-Z and Jennifer Lopez, both of whom have been named in various lawsuits tied to Diddy's alleged misconduct. For Jay-Z, the situation is particularly precarious. Known for his calculated business moves and squeaky clean public image, he now finds himself dragged into a narrative that could tarnish his legacy. Legal documents suggest that members of Jay-Z's team have been accused of attempting to bribe witnesses in an effort to steer lawsuits away from him. According to one filing, individuals allegedly connected to Jay-Z's camp posed as state officials and even flashed fake badges to intimidate potential witnesses. If true, this could spell serious trouble for the rapper turned mogul, whose empire spans music, fashion, and even sports management.
I came here today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Jennifer Lopez's situation is equally complicated. Once romantically linked to Diddy, she's now being called as a material witness in a lawsuit that alleges she had knowledge of incriminating evidence, but failed to act on it. The plaintiff claims that Lopez was shown a recording that could have exonerated him, but chose to stay silent, allegedly under pressure from Diddy. If these allegations hold water, they could raise questions about Lopez's role in covering up behavior that's now under intense scrutiny. And while her representatives have yet to comment on these claims, the silence is only fueling speculation. Beyond Jay-Z and Lopez, there is growing chatter about who else might be implicated. Diddy's social circle has always been a who's who of entertainment and politics, with everyone from world leaders to A-list celebrities counted among his friends. Insiders are now speculating that as legal proceedings move forward, more names could surface, names that might shock even the most jaded observers. Some are drawing parallels to the fallout from previous high-profile scandals, where once powerful individuals were brought down by the weight of their connections to controversial figures. Could Diddy's case be the next domino to set off a chain reaction? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, the fallout from the raid on Diddy's Miami mansion continues to make headlines. Law enforcement officials who participated in the operation have described what they found as nothing short of chilling. While initial reports focused on the discovery of hundreds of bottles of baby oil, a detail that quickly became a punchline on social media, new information suggests the reality was far more disturbing. Sources claim that certain rooms in the mansion appeared to have been designed for specific purposes, with layouts and supplies that raised serious questions about their intended use. These revelations have only added fuel to the fire, with critics comparing Diddy to other disgraced figures who used their wealth and power to create spaces designed to exploit others. It's a comparison that Diddy and his team are desperate to avoid, but the evidence, as described by those involved in the raid, paints a damning picture.
They're going to try everything. They're going to try to transfer him. They're going to try to get him out. In a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned about a wrongful prosecution, because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
As if all of this weren't enough, new lawsuits continue to pile up. One of the most recent filings comes from 3 men who allege they were subjected to humiliating and degrading treatment by Diddy. According to their statements, the incidents weren't motivated by personal attraction, but rather by a need to dominate and control. One of the plaintiffs described how Diddy allegedly lured him to a meeting under false pretenses, only to use the encounter as an opportunity to assert power in the most degrading way possible. The lawsuit goes on to claim that Diddy's actions were part of a pattern of behavior aimed at breaking down those around him, ensuring their loyalty through manipulation and fear. These new allegations are particularly damaging because they challenge the narrative that Diddy's actions were limited to a specific context or group. Instead, they suggest a broader pattern of exploitation that cuts across different demographics and settings. Legal experts are already speculating about how these claims could influence the larger case against him, with some arguing that they strengthen the prosecution's argument that Diddy was running a coordinated operation designed to prey on the vulnerable. If true, this could make it even harder for his defense team to argue that the accusations are isolated incidents or misunderstandings.
If they did in fact occur, Their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant. And not only that, but that these individuals assume the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in the sexual conduct and being in those spaces, consuming and things of that nature.
And then there's the question of the recordings. Among the evidence reportedly seized during the raid on Diddy's properties are hours of video footage that could potentially implicate not just Diddy but others in his orbit. This has sparked intense speculation about who else might appear in these recordings and what their release could mean for the industry as a whole. Some observers have likened the situation to the fallout from previous scandals, where the release of incriminating footage led to a cascade of resignations, lawsuits, and criminal charges. If the rumors are true, these recordings could be the tipping point that takes this case from a personal scandal to a full-blown industry reckoning. Diddy's legal team, for their part, has been working overtime to contain the damage. They've filed motions to suppress certain evidence, arguing that it was obtained improperly, and have sought to discredit key witnesses by questioning their credibility. But with so many allegations coming from so many different directions, it's becoming increasingly difficult to keep the narrative under control. Every day seems to bring a new revelation, a new lawsuit, or a new twist that keeps the story in the headlines.
We're monitoring another push to free Sean Diddy Combs tonight, with his legal team citing new evidence in an updated bail proposal. The music mogul agreeing to around-the-clock security and cutting out contact with basically anyone but his legal team to get out of jail ahead of his trial scheduled for May of next year for charges he allegedly coerced and abused women for years.
As the trial date approaches, the stakes couldn't be higher. For Diddy, this is about more than just his freedom. It's about his legacy, his empire, and everything he's worked for over the past 3 decades. For his accusers, it's about finally having their voices heard and holding someone accountable for what they say are years of harm. And for the industry, it's about reckoning with the culture of silence and complicity that allowed someone like Diddy to operate unchecked for so long. What's clear is that this story is far from over. With every new detail that emerges, the picture becomes more complex, and the questions become harder to ignore. How deep does this go? Who else might be implicated? And most importantly, what will justice look like in a case as explosive as this one? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity gossip and news. Until next time.